It seems that I fell into my afterlife. No, I didn't die, which is the strange thing. One day I just walked and tripped and stumbled off a curb, not in front of a bus, not in front of anything. I literally went to brace myself to the ground and just went straight through. I phased straight through the concrete, through the dirt, through the sand, down into what I could only call the afterlife. I call it the afterlife because most people try to say it's the back room. This is not a back room. I remember falling and then literally going through the dirt and sand and every other solid object there was. And I just fell repeatedly and repeatedly until finally I landed here. Most people would call it hell because, of course, it's a hellscape. There's all type of manner of creature here. Um, but the funny thing is, none of them seem to interact with me. None of them even care that I'm here. I go back and forward as what I could only consider to be a hellhound. It has three heads that, for some reason, all have the tendency to talk. They hold the most elaborate conversations, which is weird in itself. At some point, I thought I fell off the curb and probably got a concussion and probably was in a coma. Maybe in a hospital bed, just dreaming this all up. But it quickly became apparent with the changing of the weather conditions that I was fully here, mind, body, and soul. Which is weird because you would think that going into the afterlife, you would only be a soul, either going in for eternal torment or going into your afterlife to be happily ever after. But apparently, there was a glitch in the matrix, and I came here fully intact. Anyways, back to the Hellhounds. There's more than one. There's not just that one that everybody talks about. Cerberus is, I think, his name. He's here. He's just a rather old hellhound. He has kids, and they all have elaborate conversations with their multiple heads. Some of them have three heads. Some of them have two heads. Some of them have about eight heads. And I've noticed that the heads all seem to have a mind of their own and want to do what they want to do when they want to do. In regards to me, it seems that they interact with me as if I'm their owner. They come to me for rubs. They come to me just to stare. The first time they came upon me, though, I was concerned. I was sure I was going to be ripped to shreds, only for this giant hellhound to bounce up to me, roll over on his back, splay his head to one side, and his tongue to roll out, to start licking me and gesturing me to rub its belly, which I happily obliged because, of course, I like dogs, regardless of whether they're regular dogs or hellhounds. And it pretty much asked me to rub it. I know, I was a little perplexed as well. My brain was not fully engaged upon hearing the voice, which did not sound hellhoundish. It sounded more like a kid in a candy store, like it had found a best friend that it never knew it lost, and it wanted to interact. And I did. I know it seems weird. It's a little confusing. The fact that somehow I fell through space, time, through physical life into the afterlife. It's again not the back rooms because I've heard about those places and they seem less fun than here. I mean, could I be considered a bad person because apparently I fell into hell? Maybe. Or maybe this really isn't hell. Maybe we have the wrong concepts about the afterlife and where we really go. All of this is just maybe, metaphorically speaking, because I don't really know where I am. I don't really know how I got here. I really hadn't made any decisions in my life. I was just getting the concept of leaving the house and going out into the world. So, ending up like this was a feat in itself. I, from time to time, wonder if my family even realizes that I'm gone, and if they do they wonder what happened to me? Because the way I fell, it would seem like I just fell off the face of the earth. And technically I did. But anyways, this is just me keeping a diary from the afterlife, I guess. Uh, Eventually I hope to figure out how to get out of here. But if I don't mind hanging out with the hellhounds. They're pretty cool creatures.